It's really a pleasure to be with all of you here today. As you may know, my name is Gonçalo. I'm the CEO and founder of Hiire, and I'm here with my great team of the Career Advisory Program, Guilherme and Duarte. And today we have a lot of knowledge and content to share with you. So this session will be very, very straightforward with a lot of content and a lot of practical tips as well. Today we'll talk about how you can navigate the job market in 2024. So me, Guilherme and Duarte, we are recruiters for several years, and we really want to provide you value on how you can land a job in 2024. So besides today, we also will have live tomorrow and on Thursday, also same time, same format, so LinkedIn Live. Today we'll talk about the job market and how it evolved until now. Tomorrow we'll share a lot of practical tips on how you can improve your career and how you can navigate in this job market and how you can be successful on it. And on Thursday, we'll talk about our career advisory program. So as I told you, we are three recruiters with a lot of experience, and we will provide you a lot of content today and tomorrow. So really pay attention. You can do, of course, other things while you are watching the live, but if you focus, I guarantee to you that you'll have a lot of value from this session. Since we only have half an hour, let's move on and let's go to the content itself. And today, as I told you, we'll talk about how you can navigate this crazy job market. I know it's not easy to find a job, but that's why we decided to create these 3 live sessions in order to provide value to you.
Very well. Thank you for that great introduction, Gonçalo. So as Gonçalo was explaining, we're going to cover a lot of content in a short period of time. We try to make the presentation as concise and succinct as possible. We're going to cover job market evolution. So how does the job market evolve? We're going to take a brief look on what happened in the job market over the last few years. So it's a brief time lapse of the job market evolution. And then we're going to make a quick recap of 2023 as a job market year. Then we're going to make some predictions on what we expect to see in the current year, 2024. So looking at job market evolution, it's very important that we recognize that job market is not static. It's constantly evolving. So usually when we try to predict what is going to happen in the job market, we have to look at the trends that have been going on in preceding years. So usually job market is a continuation of trends that come from preceding years. But again, even though this happens in a continuum, every calendar year adds unique challenges and unique opportunities. So what I want you to take home from this slide is that the job market, although it's constantly evolving and it's a continuation of trends, it's always unique in itself, because every calendar year will add some nuances and will pose unique challenges and unique opportunities. So now we can move to the next slide. So as promised, we're going to make a brief job market time lapse. So trying to understand what happened in the last 3 years. So as you can all recall, in 2020, the pandemic hit, we had COVID. When this happened, the job market went into a state of shock. So there were mass layoffs, companies were sending people home. There was a lot of economic instability, a lot of uncertainty. I don't know if you recall, we had several lockdowns with a lot of restrictions. We couldn't leave our homes. And this state of the market, when we started returning to normal, created a job market shift. So what happened was, during the lockdown, people were prevented from acquiring products and acquiring services. So when the restrictions were lifted, there was a change in consumer behavior. So people wanted the products, they wanted the services. So this ended up resulting in an increased demand for products and services. And companies saw this as a great opportunity to leverage this increased demand. So there was an event that we now call the hiring boom. And the hiring boom is something that started happening in the beginning of 2021 and kept happening until the end of 2022. And this meant that companies were hiring at a very high volume and that in a very fast pace. So there were a lot of openings, a lot of people changing jobs. Pretty much every company was hiring people to join their company. And also because the pandemic accelerated the adoption of remote work and hybrid work, we were hiring people from everywhere. So recruitment was faster. So this was what we called the hiring boom. But then, if you recall, by the end of 2022, we had some major layoffs from reputable companies in the technological sector, such as Amazon, Meta, Twitter, and things started to shift once again a little bit. And 2023 became a year substantially different from the post-pandemic years. So when we look at 2020 to 2022, they were very similar from year to year, but then 2023 was again another shift. So 2023, although it's very different from 2022 and 2021, it's when we compare it to the history, and when we compare to years pre-pandemic, it's a more conventional year. It's a more stable job market. So it's something that we're more used to. So 2023, it's pretty much a year of transition to a more conventional job market, to a more conventional hiring pace. And when we look at hiring, it's also declining, and it became slower in 2023. So this was more or less a brief time lapse of what happened from 2020 up until 2023. So let's do a quick recap on 2023. So end of 2022, mass layoffs from technological companies, and these layoffs, they kept going on throughout 2023. And we also saw an hiring decline. The reason why this happened, we were discussing the hiring boom that we saw in those post-pandemic years. And probably companies hired way too much people. They hired for a demand that was short-lived. That demand did not carry on. So now companies found themselves with a lot of people. They overhired and they had to let people go. So we had layoffs and the hiring declined. We also had a push for pay transparency after some directive from the European Union. This was quite interesting. LinkedIn was buzzing at the time. Everyone was pushing for pay transparency on job adverts, pay transparency within our own companies, trying to understand where in our ranges we sit. We also had a lot of the 4-day work week experimentation. There were a lot of projects to see whether or not this was viable for companies to adopt. We also had the return to the office trend. So a lot of companies were reverting policies, and they were trying to ask employees to come into the office more often, trying to work some, according to the company, some cultural challenges that they were facing with the new work arrangements. So this was also one aspect. And then we had the AI explosion. So in 2023, we had a lot of generative AI technologies come into the workplace. One of them, ChatGPT. Pretty much everyone nowadays uses ChatGPT. So these 6 factors pretty much marked 2023. And as I've explained, this is very important for what Guilherme is going to present next, because whenever we make a prediction for the following year, we have to see where did we come from. So now you know that the post-pandemic years from 2020 to 2022 were very unique because the job market was shocked by the pandemic. 2023 is more of a transition to a more conventional state, and these 6 aspects were the ones that marked 2023.
Thank you, guys. I was just thanking Gonçalo for the intro and Duarte for setting the stage and telling you all how the job market looked like in 2023. And here we want to tell you a bit more of what we are expecting for 2024, and we'll go over a breakdown of that during the next slide. So let me move on. So just continuing a bit of what Duarte said, but I want to pass on the notion that we've seen the job market in previous years, and we see that it's always a continuation of the past trends that affects the current year. So we have to take that into consideration. So as Duarte said, and piggybacking a bit of his opinion, 2024 will be a continuation of this transition where we move from a more unconventional period in hiring with these hiring booms to a more stable employment landscape with more conventional hiring at a slower pace versus the fast pace that we experienced during the hiring booms. I'll break this down a bit further in this next slide, where we'll go topic by topic, so you have a good grasp of what we are trying to convey here. Basically, here on the first point, we mentioned layoffs. That's one of the expectations that we have, is that during the 2024 job market, there will still be layoffs present. We will still see them, as the macroeconomic conditions are still not as good as we would hope for, with inflation and all these things affecting us, especially looking at the US as the meter for what happens to the rest of the world, right? So we are still seeing these layoffs. We expect them to be fewer, because companies also learn from their past mistakes, right? So with this hiring boom, companies overhire, they completely overlook some things in their hiring processes, like cultural fit and the right skills assessment, and that caused the hiring boom to be a problem, and and that made companies have to fire people and go through these layoff processes. So the companies are learning for that, are betting even more on headcount planning and figuring out what's the sweet spot for them in terms of headcount, instead of hiring and then figuring out things, and being much more data driven in this approach, which will and we expect it to lead to less and less layoffs, and way better predictions for total headcount and for hiring plans throughout 2024. Then definitely the return to office is something that we expect to see a continuation of. This is being very tied with layoffs, as a lot of companies use these as a way to make people leave the company by themselves, instead of having to lay them off, which it's something that happens quite a lot. But this is a trend that we will continue to see. And mainly, we'll see the hybrid work arrangement becoming more and more frequent nowadays. That return to office, it's something that's been going on and being picked up in terms of trend. One of the things that we also expect to see, it's that hiring will suffer a decrease. So less and less job postings will be available for you on LinkedIn. So for all the job seekers out there, please pay attention. Every application that you make counts even more, as there are fewer out there, and you need to be way more intentful in the way that you do things to make sure that you reap the best results of what you're doing. Another of the trends that we expect to see is the continuation on the push for paid transparency. That this is something that we've seen in the US. Nowadays, you need to have the salary range in the job post for it to be legal. It's something that we'll start to see in Europe, and then it will spread around the globe. This will affect the way talent chooses the right company to work for, and the other way around. It's also a filter on the other way, so that the companies expose from the get-go what they are looking for, the salary range, and that takes a lot of people out of the talent pool for both ends. Then another thing that we've seen, and definitely is taking a central role, not only in hiring but in every industry as a whole, is the implementation of AI. And we'll see an aggressive continuation on that. If you look up roles in AI now, we've seen that there's a huge boom in hiring for this specific industry and area, which indicates that a lot more companies are trying to develop their bespoke solutions around this. This definitely will bring a lot of automation, but it can also cause a problem where it eradicates a lot of jobs that are out there, because those are automated using AI, and this is definitely something to take into consideration. This is something that I want to break down a bit further on this slide. So what we expect for you looking ahead as a job seeker in this market. And as I said, hiring will become more and more selective. So right now, companies, they have very, very specific and tight headcount plans that they need to stick to, and to ensure that they want to get the best bang for their buck with the candidates they're hiring. So they want the best person with the best skills, the best cultural fit, for the best salary they can get. So be aware of that when you're positioning yourself in the market. Make sure that you're applying to companies where you're a great culture fit, and that you know that you're matching the job requirements, to make sure that you're a very qualified candidate and you're top of the candidate pool. Then a lot of things will change with the implementation of AI. As I mentioned before, some of these jobs will completely disappear. some other jobs will need to adapt. And this adaptation is key for you to stay relevant as a job seeker in the market. A lot of upskilling and reskilling will be needed across industries and across positions. I don't want to go super deep on this topic because we'll definitely give you a lot more juice on this tomorrow. But here's it, this is just an initial taste of what's coming tomorrow. Then definitely the point 3 is something that I want to delve deep tomorrow. But nowadays, it's very important for you to think about your career roadmap, and now you're including AI in there to make sure you're staying relevant and that you're staying at the forefront of technology to ensure that you're a relevant candidate and a capable candidate, whatever the market condition is. So that's pretty much what we expect for 2024. It's a year of adaptation. It's a year of being more selective and being more intentional with everything you do as a job seeker. It will be a tough year, as I can expect and as we all expect. So it's about positioning yourself properly and having the right tools by your side to ensure that you're still relevant and that people will still want to hire you at the end of the day.
Thanks a lot for sharing, Guilherme. And I see also some people in the other sides commenting. So thanks a lot, Philippe, for joining. We talked a lot about how the market was before and why we did that. Because I think all of you that are starting to think, hey, should I get a new job or not? Or maybe I'm not super happy with my current job. I need to start looking for a new one. It's very, very important that you know what happened before and what might happen in the future. So if you want to move from point A to point B, you need to understand first what happened before, because we all know that the history repeats itself. And that's why we decided to start our 3 live sessions with the context. The context is super important for you to know how to tackle the market, how to tackle the companies, what you should say on the interview. But we see a lot of job seekers starting to look for the job on doing the CV and starting applying just because. And for our experience, we already coach a lot of people on how to find a new job. We speak with candidates every day, and who starts just from applying to new positions out of nowhere, they'll be frustrated because they don't receive feedback. They will go to interviews, they don't like the people or the company or the industry, and they will be very upset during the process. And when they go to interviews with the right company, they won't have the right energy to really sell themselves. So on our opinion, it's very, very important to first reflect on who you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and also what we shared here. Understand the market, understand what companies are doing, understand what type of profiles companies are trying to hire, so you can adapt and think, okay, maybe I don't have all the skills yet, I need to do a reskilling. Maybe I want to be a team leader in the future, but I don't have the leadership skills. I need to do more training to get my leadership skills better. So it's really important for you to understand what is going on first before moving to apply, before moving to send CVs, because you know that you can shot 100 shots, but if you are not pointing for the right direction, you'll miss all the shots. So in our experience, it's very important that you reflect first. And it's much better that you take 1 week, 1 month to reflect on who you are and where you want to be than starting to apply for companies just because. That won't be the right movement, especially in 2024. You'll shoot your shot and you'll miss it because you'll waste an opportunity, you'll waste a connection. So if you think deeply where you are right now and what you want to do, you can, instead of speaking with 100 companies, maybe you can send just 20 applications, send 20 LinkedIn message, and that will help you to improve your results with less effort. And that is really the key for your success in terms of job search in 2024. Really reflect on your skills, reflect in what you want, and then you target exactly what you want. Because if you know where you are going, you have a higher probability of being successful. If you don't know where you are shooting, you will fail. I'm sorry, because there is so many people right now applying to jobs. I opened a recruiter job yesterday for Hiire, and I received 30 applications in 1 day. And we are a very, very small company. So imagine that you are applying for bigger companies. they won't receive 30 applications. They will receive easily 100 applications in the same day. And we all see on LinkedIn job application with more than 100 applications. So instead of being one more on those 100, there is strategies and methodologies that we teach our students on how you can overcome those 100 without even applying. With doing networking, with really knowing what you want in your life, that will be much, much better to land the opportunity that you want, the opportunity that you deserve, and will be very much easier to navigate the job market.
Yeah, just wanted to add something to what you said, something that I think it's important. So there is a rule that I like to go by. That's the 5P rule. That's proper preparation prevents poor performance, and this happens in everything in life. The more you prepare, the better your results will be. And same thing with the job market. First, you need to start by understanding what's the context that you're gonna operate in, and then you can go from there. That was the whole point with this session, was bringing the context over to you to facilitate that search, that for some people not being in the market and not being able to access some data, it's really hard to understand the trends and what's going on. So we decided to break these down for you, so then you can leverage these in your job search strategy to make sure that you get the results you want at the end. That's what I wanted to add. Thanks, Gonçalo.
That's a very, very good addiction. Just answer, since we have 5 minutes. Very good question from Philippe. He's a top recruiter, and he's very curious to know what will happen to in-house recruiters. In my opinion, and feel free, Duarte and Guilherme, to add something if you have to add it. I think will be a mix. So the in-house teams will still be there. The in-house teams are still useful, but I think to leverage hiring, companies will need to do more RPOs or hiring freelancers for a short period of time, because maybe you need to hire 50 people in the first quarter and you need 6 recruiters for that. But in quarter 3 and 4, maybe you just need to hire 10 people. So the in-house team is more than enough to do it.
Yeah, let me just add, that's perfect. Basically what Gonçalo covered is having a hybrid strategy will allow for more flexibility and more scalability on our recruitment strategy. But let's face it, there's also talent that is so specialized that in-house recruiters won't be able to tackle. For instance, Guilherme works with a type of talent that is very novel in the market. No one really knows how to recruit that type of candidate. So you really need to have recruiters that are very proficient in hiring that specific type of profile. And as we start adding AI to the workforce, generative AI tools, and job profiles become more specialized, companies might have to add recruiters that maybe are more tailored for that specific recruitment need, while your in-house recruiters will take care of the core roles and the core job profiles of your business. So it will allow for both flexibility and scalability, but at the same time tackling more specific needs that are probably a bit more technical. And in-house recruiters might not be as prepared to deal with those requirements. So probably a mix of everything, like RPOs, in-house recruiters, specialized recruitment, even temporary workers. So it might be a mix of everything.
Yeah, that's what I exactly wanted to add. I believe it will be a mix of everything. Companies need to be flexible at this point in time. They need to think about their costs. They need to consider their outcome planning, but they also need to serve the business. That's the whole purpose of a recruitment team, is to serve the business and bring the right people to solve their needs. There is recruitment because there's knowledge gaps or skills gaps in the organization that need to be covered. So the recruitment organizations within the bigger organizations need to pay attention to these and need to act quickly and bring that value to the business as well. So being flexible and having all these scalability solutions is definitely something that will play a huge role through 2024 for companies and in-house recruiters. I would expect in-house recruiters to solidify their position in their internal teams, especially after going through layoffs and the shift in the market that they've seen. And now, of course, as the demand grows for talent within their organizations, the teams need to scale appropriately to face the needs, basically. So I do expect to see a lot of RPO, agencies becoming more and more proponent, and also temporary workers, because teams don't want to commit for longer term with people, even though they might be very skilled or not. But I do expect to see that trend throughout 2024.
So we are coming to an end here in our conversation. Was super useful, and I was very happy to see all of you here today. So tomorrow we'll be here at the same time. I hope that you are also with us at the same time here. So you can just sign up to the event that is in the link. I know there is another comment here on the session, but it's quite big, and I think we cover a lot of topics here. And we are doing this session for people that are looking for a job. So for people that are actively looking for a job now, or they are thinking about changing jobs. We know that employers and companies have a lot to improve. I also coach companies, and I also work with B2B companies, and there is for sure a lot of things that we can do to get better. But we are sharing what's that you are looking for a job or thinking about your career, what you can do personally. So taking accountability, taking really responsibility for your career, it's your ownership, it's your life. Nobody will change your life for you, only you. So it's really important that we can face it, that then we can get better, because companies will continue to hire, and they might do the right decision or the wrong decision, but will be you that will suffer with that if you don't get the right job for you. And that's why tomorrow at the same time we'll be here. I hope you guys are here with us as well, because we'll share a lot of not only tips, but the methodology that we use with our clients to help them to get new jobs. And last year we worked with 18 clients. I hope that this year, 2024, we work with at least 40 people in this program that we will show you more on Thursday, because we have been very successful to help them to land new jobs. And we hope to share a little bit of our methodology tomorrow with you. So if you want to do it by yourself, great. If you want to do it with us, great as well. So we are really here to help you. And of course, we can share a lot of tips. But if you don't do the job, if you don't do the homework, if you don't prepare yourself, you cannot do it. And with our career advisory program, we really help you, and we really make you accountable in order to make a successful career. It's not for everyone, but it's for people that really want to have an impactful career and grow in their path. So I really hope to see you tomorrow. This is a really short live of 30 minutes. Tomorrow will be the same. We start almost on time, we finish on time, and we try to provide a lot of value. Please also bring your questions tomorrow so we can all discuss. And me, Guilherme and Duarte, we are very active on LinkedIn, so please follow us for more great content. We'll be with you guys not only on these lives, but afterwards as well. So please keep in touch and let us know if you can help anyway. Okay, thank you very much. See you guys, and take care.